love watching everybody bebop around to the music. So fun. Oh, well, welcome everyone. We are here for the NASEF live stream, and it is great to have you all here. NASEF Farmcraft, we are just moving on through. We've had a ton of great guests, and we have some awesome gameplay planned for you today as well. And we get to look at some videos from students. So we have a great lineup. I'm going to start with some introductions. My name is Claire LeBeau. I am the Director of Communications at NASEF, the North America Scholastic Esports Federation, and we love to blend play and learning, and NASEF Farmcraft certainly does that. So let's go to the brains behind that operation, the mayor of Farmcraft. You want to do a quick intro?
Brains. That's like if you spell my name wrong, it's Brain. So, sometimes I get that credit accidentally, and, this is intentional. Wow. Thank you so much. So I'm Clever Like. So I've spent a lifetime in, playing computer games and learning how to code, and went to school for computer science, did a bunch of company business stuff. Now I get to play video games for a living. So we specialize in creating experiences inside of your favorite video games so that you can learn about important things and experience things that you couldn't otherwise experience. So welcome to Farmcraft and the caterpillars that you get to experience in the game. And how about we'll pass it over to Renard Roux.
Thank you so much, Brian. I am Renard Roux, aka Lynn Scheib, Partnerships Coordinator in the Office of American Spaces in the U.S. State Department's Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs. And I am really happy to be part of this Farmcraft team. We have an amazing time. We have had 68 countries joining in the competition for the regular season, and we are just rolling into this regular season challenge number 2 with great excitement. And I'm also joined by my fur babies, who will pass the baton over to Claire LeBeau.
Oh, all right. Thank you. Let's go ahead and have Eric. You want to give the overview from your perspective?
I can do that. So, hi, I'm Eric Leitner, aka River. I'm a STEM computer science instructional facilitator with Broward County Public Schools, a global Minecraft mentor. And since we won't have a stream on May the 4th, I'm also going to say I am TK13824 of the 501st Legion, Stormtrooper, TIE Pilot, Imperial Gunner, and all of those things. Because I don't get to wear those costumes since we're not doing a stream on May 4th. Oh, so depressing. But still, at least that means I get to go out and play. I know, there's no brains involved there. It's fine. I'm going to pass the mic over to Adam. Adam, go for it.
Sure. Well, can I just say, you can dress up whenever you want, okay?
Can I? Okay, I'll be right back.
Please. See you in just a minute. So, hi, everybody. I'm Adam Cornish. I am a Department of State employee. I work in the Office of Agricultural Policy, so I kind of care about plants. And so Farmcraft is something that is near and dear to my heart. In fact, I just decided that the frost is not going to come back, and started putting things in the soil here outside of my apartment building. We will hope, because it got down to, 30 degrees Fahrenheit just the other day. Crossing fingers that my plant babies survive. Mm-hmm. So I'll pass it on over to our special guest for today, Steve.
Well, not me. Hi, I'm Steven Mirsky. I'm a research scientist with the Department of Agriculture. Been working with the Department of Agriculture for about the last 15 years now, and my background is in crops and soils and pest management, and sort of have a broad background in pest management, nutrient management, water management, all sort of what it takes to grow crops and keep them productive. I'm situated in the Sustainable Agricultural Systems Lab. So sort of as the name, infers, we work on how to develop more sustainable cropping systems. And so we look at both, how we can improve the management for farmers to make things more sustainable. And sustainable sort of includes both, the productivity. You can't be sustainable if you're not economically viable. So productivity and economics is an important part of that. And then the environment, as well as the social aspects, sort of having farm economies and opportunities for folks in agriculture. So thanks for
very cool. So we have lots of students watching this, how did you come to be the expert that you are? Like, what was your path through school to get to work in the field that you're in?
Oh, that's a long story. I guess I'll
Lean
give you
back and
the
listen.
Cliff's Notes.
I'll give you the Cliff Notes. I think the important part of the story, or the interesting part of the story, is that, I didn't grow up in ag. I grew up, about 25, 30 minutes outside of New York City. So I grew up in the suburbs of Jersey and didn't know anything about agriculture,
What exit?
finance, or farming.
What exit?
Meadowlands.
Got just,
Yeah, but it's the Garden State, so clearly you were well informed.
Oh,
True.
that's
And I
right.
say,
Call, Eric.
I say that as
Oh.
somebody who spent time growing up in Fort Lee, New Jersey. So
Nice.
That's right. There is a lot of beautiful naturalized areas in Jersey, but where I grew up wasn't that place. And so I just went out west to go to college and sort of look for something different, and sort of stumbled my way into a bunch of different things. Got involved in doing some conservation work, actually, on Native American reservations, doing soil and water conservation and subsistence farming. And that just sort of got bit by the bug and got interested in agriculture. And then it was pretty linear there out. Got a bachelor's degree in agriculture, a master's degree in soil science, a PhD in agronomy and pest management, and just went right to the Department of Ag, and here I am.
There you are. Awesome. That's cool to hear. I realized that I aged myself when I said we wanted the Cliff Notes version. The gamers watching this would want the TLDR.
That's right.
So
that's way more accurate.
I did have the lingo somewhere in the recesses of my mind, but it was back there.
I'm still trying to figure out how long you have to work in the field before you get to call it ag. I don't think I'm there yet, but someday that's my goal. I want to be able to just call it ag.
Great. Well, it's
I
good
went
to
to
have
a
you
Cal
with us, Steve.
College. A U.S. University of Maryland is a land grant university, and so it was informally referred to as a cow college. And I don't know if Maryland still has it, but we had barns with farms with cows and a farm outside of Beltsville, Maryland, maybe near where you're working, Steven.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at.
Wow. Very
Well, and
cool.
depending on the day, you can certainly smell the fact that the college is investing in cows.
Yes,
Direction of the wind,
my
maybe,
sister
as well.
lives in Tillamook, Oregon. They call it the derriere there. It's the derriere.
Very
Also known
clever.
as, they say, the smell of money. Anyway, I digress. So we have some videos that we want to share. Eric, you want to give us a little background on what we're going to check out here?
Yeah, we do. And I think this is actually perfect, because I think this will give Steve, aka Dr. Dirt, we haven't said it yet, so Dr.
Yes.
Dirt, or some insight into what the students are being asked to do. And then, of course, we're going to kind of thrust you right into this game world yourself. Trust me, the students are way better at Minecraft than everyone you see on this panel. So don't feel like you've seen what they're doing and you have to live up to it. So we want to check out a few of the video diaries that we asked you to submit for our regular season challenge 1. And just as a reminder, we gave you a specific biome. We had asked you to go in there, and then we gave you some reflection questions that we wanted you to address in your video diary. So we chose a few that really addressed those points well. And one of our favorite things is that these keep coming from all over the place. So on previous streams, we shared videos from Japan and Bangladesh. And on this one, we get to share ones from Germany, which is where we're starting right now. So Team Days Farm Elite from Germany, we're going to check out their video diary as part of regular season challenge 1 entries. Take a look.
Hi, we are Elias and Luis from the Days Farm Elite team. This is the first time we are playing Farmcraft, so we had to get used to all of the new things like the lab, new farming equipment, and interacting with the NPCs. Our expectation of dealing with many insects in the jungle biome were fulfilled. We also quickly realized how important soil quality and water are. So there was a lot of trial and error throughout the 5 seasons. When we first discovered the drones, we always bought them because they made it much easier to deal with insects, but we also quickly realized that they were too expensive. Here we really understood the decisions real-life farmers have to make. So for the next challenge, we will focus on improving the environment and setting priorities in soil control and water levels. We worked really well together in a team and easily adapted to the changing conditions throughout communicating with each other. We are looking forward to challenge 2.
All right, yeah. So they addressed all of those points we wanted them to talk about. We asked them to take a look at what adaptations have been made to the Minecraft world, as well as what choices and decisions had to be made, how to balance those jobs out, how to balance the decision making out, and they addressed all of those points really well. And I thought it was a really good kind of introduction to a video diary. So I'm really excited to see like where they go with it once they start to like really dig into the game and saying, okay, how do we challenge ourselves to do more and more?
I love seeing the master plan coming together too. Like you like those drones, do you? Yeah, like now you're out of money. How are you going to get through to the end? What's next? Like, what are the next trade-offs you need to weigh? So I love that they were hitting those roadblocks where they had to make decisions and find balance. It was really cool to hear.
That's what it's all about, right? Is how do we make those decisions, find a balance between all of the things, all of those decision-making processes that farmers have to deal with on a daily basis, and create the outcomes that we're hoping for, which isn't always easy to hit a target. And just from playing it myself multiple times, and even as we were playtesting it, hitting exact targets of where you want to be is not easy, regardless of what that target may be. So sometimes even if our target was we're going to absolutely destroy the ecosystem, it took work. It took a little bit of work sometimes.
We wanted to see that tornado that's in the video. We worked
maybe less work than really striving to be a good farmer, but work nonetheless.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to take a look at one more. This is from team MSLA4, Math and Science Leadership Academy in South Africa. So we're going to take a look at a team from South Africa and their submission. One.
Hi guys, we are Team MSLA4 from the Maths and Science Leadership Academy in Northern Cape from South Africa. We really enjoyed our experience on this game and we found out a lot about agriculture and farming. Our initial process in completing it, we focused mainly on profits, but we found that it was also detrimental to our climate, which actually also influenced our profit. So we changed the plans just a little bit in order to find a good balance between profit and the health of our climate. So when we look at all the elements that was added into this game, we saw that we have different things such as fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides that was available to us, and this is actually refers to real life because there are actual fertilizers and herbicides and pesticides in real life. So it was very realistic and we could really relate to actual farming. So if we have to think about what we could do better, as you can see, we can actually find ways to limit our mistakes, which we all are human. But if we made less mistakes, we could have been much more better. But all in all, we really, really enjoyed our time. And we thank you for this opportunity that you gave.
Wow.
All right. So my favorite thing about that video, I mean, I have a lot of things I like about that video. I love the way they talked about their methodologies. They pinpointed very specific things that related both to the real world and the world that was created and made those connections between those decisions. But my favorite thing is if you were looking at the characters, one of the characters, Jaden, was using the chef skin, which means all about farm to table at this farm.
That's awesome. I just noticed at the beginning, I mean, he said exactly what Farmcraft is about. First, we were all about profit. Then we realized we got to be about the climate. Oh, no, wait, that affect. Yeah, I mean, isn't that farming, is figure out that delicate balance between protecting the climate, growing enough food, and, making a profit so you can support your family.
Yeah, a little bit of foreshadowing in that one too. We won't get there yet, but a little bit of foreshadowing in that video.
Awesome. Well, I think we are ready to dive into the Farmcraft world. And then Steve or Dr. Dirt, get ready. We're going to pepper you with questions and get some of your insight from your experience in the agriculture world. And at the same time, anybody who's watching this live, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Of course, if you're watching the recorded version later on, you don't have that opportunity, but we'd love to hear your questions. So we ready?
All right.
I'm
We're ready.
Add this to the stream.
I just noticed the chat too, and I had to just, If you're not watching in the chat, that's on you, because I'm not going to read it, but it's just so good. All right, so we are in our lobby. We've got everyone with us right now, and here is, of course, is Dr. Dirt, wearing my favorite skin, by the way, because of the beard. But I'm gonna let Dr. Dirt wear it today. That's what we do for our guests. We're very courteous like that. So I switched mine up. He's going to take ownership of that, do the plaid shirt justice, and we're going to jump into one of our biomes. And I think we decided just prior to the stream that we decided the best biome for this conversation, and one that we've actually not played a lot of on any of our streams, is the Tundra Biome. So we are going to go talk to our Tundra Biome character over here. And I do like reading these little pop-ups. These are great because they kind of, if you don't read this, it gives you some clues. It gives you some clues about what you need to do when you make those decisions, especially in the lab, right? So it's, what do we know about the Tundra Biome? It's dry and chilly with hard soil. So right away, we know dry is a problem and there's some soil issues. Not many insects live here. Okay, going to keep that in mind. And can you sustainably produce crops for 5 seasons in this biome? And that's, I think, talking right to you, Dr. Dirt. You're the expert on sustainability, so we're counting on you for this one. So I'm going to click play this biome, and we're all going to be teleported over and inside each other's heads. So if you are playing this for the first time, like Dr. Dirt, you may want to take a step around a little bit. So you're not just peering inside somebody's brain. Or is it Brian?
Oh, cool. It's different. All right. Fun.
Yep, everything looking a little different. We got some snowy ice caps and different foliage. Definitely different looking ground and soil in this area. Although some things are familiar. We still got our same instructions, same levels that we got to keep our eye on, things like that. So we're going to play through this one while we're having some of our great conversation.
Awesome. Well, Steven, one of the things that we talked about when we were discussing this, and I hadn't really thought about it too much, is when you're talking about climate change, what are the differences between adapting to climate change and mitigating climate change? So if we're going to adapt to it, what do we do? Or if we're going to mitigate it, what do we do? What are the differences there?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes,
we can hear you.
There we go.
Sorry, I got stuck behind a tractor that was making a lot of noise. That's sort of the big goal these days when we talk about climate change. Those are the two categories. How can we adapt and how can we mitigate, right? And so the adapt is that, climate change is happening, right? Many of you have seen it in real ways in your own lives. And so there's no denying that we're already seeing some of the effects of climate change. And some of the folks that are seeing this really intimately is farmers, right? They're seeing big changes in sort of how climate affects their management. And so they've had to make some adjustments to how they manage their farm. That could be just, simply when they're planting their crops. It could be in our region and a lot of parts of the U.S., what we're seeing more of and expecting to see increasingly so, wetter springs and drier summers. Well, you can imagine when you got a wet spring, that's hard for farmers if it stays wet because they got to get in the field and do things, right? If you can't get in the field and do things, that prevents you from getting your crops established and it's very important to get crops established in a timely fashion. And I know I was told that I'm supposed to be moving while I'm talking. So
this is the multitasking
you're
challenge.
Going the wrong way right now. So here, if you turn around and you see me, you can follow me over here. Because one of the things you'll see right now that we need to do is visit the lab. So this is where a lot of our decision-making processes are going to take place.
Okay, I'm here. Got it.
And remember we told you right-click to interact. If you walk over to this vehicle with me right over here, we're going to hop in. Right-click on the passenger seat and you'll be in here. You've got to aim those little crosshairs sort of right at it. Have we got you? Not yet.
I'm working on it.
You're going to get in there. I believe you. This is probably a little harder than farming. I understand, but
Look at the center of the vehicle. Look into the center of the vehicle and then right click.
I don't have I have like a different type of trackpad, so I don't know if it's.
Uh-oh.
I got a Mac trackpad here. That's
I believe in you.
Control click then.
Control click would be your right click. Yeah, hold control and click would be your right click. See, we're learning how to play Minecraft as we go.
Not let me in.
He's whacking. I can see the whacks.
Can you get in the back here?
All right, so you can get in the back too. You just have to click at it and click. Yep. So
If you aim at the center, where the shadow is under here, that's kind of where the hitbox is for entities. You can see the shadow it's casting. So kind of at Skater Girl.
That's not happening.
All right, well then I guess you're just gonna get some exercise.
Over to you until I get, all right, you're gonna have to run with us.
Oh, he's in. He's in.
He's in.
Well,
all right, don't hit anything.
hello.
Stay in the car.
You hit the same button 100 times and it worked the 100th time.
That's what it takes. That's right.
All right. So anyway, so as I was saying, these changes in climate require us to adapt to it. So that might be wet springs and dry summers, whatever it might be that's coming. Farmers need to adapt that. That might mean that they're changing their crops. That might be they're changing their management practices. So that's sort of the adaptive feature that we need to do to stay productive. Am I getting out?
So yeah, hit the jump button.
Spacebar will get you out, and then walk over through this door where I am, right behind the vehicle.
All right. I really do play video games. I just want to...
Yeah, I believe you.
I believe you so hard.
If you just walk over to that sign, and I will. Oh, I thought I could send you. I was
This button here to the side, you want to right click, put your crosshairs on the button, and then do your right click, whatever, if it was control click.
Where's the button?
It's this smaller wooden thing.
box.
Ah,
Make sure your crosshairs are on that.
I can hear the left clicking happening. I just want to point that out. I know that sound.
A control click or right click?
oh, right click. I didn't hear that part.
Yeah, that's the interact.
There
There he is.
you
He has
go.
teleported. Welcome. Get into the lab. My favorite part, I'll be honest, my favorite part is teaching people how to play it as we go.
Yeah.
We promise we'll get back to your
complicated
points.
questions. Yeah.
We definitely will get back to the points. That's important.
But we want your input because we have actually 4 different kinds of crops that we can grow, and so we want you to help us pick them. So if you look at this sign that Eric's standing in front of, you can see what kinds of crops we have. We got hardy grass, mulberry root, spotted radish, and red root fruit. And you're used to all of these. These are like common for you in your lab, right?
Sure.
These are totally normal plants, right?
Yeah, it looks just like corn and soybeans and cotton.
So based on what you're seeing here, I know you're a fast reader. What do you think we should go for this season? We only plant 1 crop at a time.
Well, without knowing a lot about the ecosystem I'm working in, I'm going to go low risk.
Oh, low risk. I like it. So what do you?
Hardy grass.
Hardy grass. Okay.
Right, here's our hardy grass.
So we've selected our hardy grass. And now that we have our hardy grass, we can actually do some genetic engineering if we'd like. So if you walk on over here, you'll see we have some scientists. Come on over, Steve. Dr. Dirt, over here.
Sorry, I was trying to click on it.
And so we have 4 different kinds of genetic engineering. We've got herbicide tolerance. We've got drought tolerance. We've got improved soil health and insect resistance. And we can buy one of them, all of them, none of them. What are your thoughts? You're the expert here. We're in a tundra. The tundra is dry. The soil's not that great. We don't have to worry that much about insects, probably. So what are your thoughts, sir?
Well, I'm just thinking I chose something hardy and that is generally fairly drought tolerant to begin with.
Correct.
So, I don't know. I think I think I'm going for insect resistance.
Okay, go for it. Go on over and press your right button on your mouse and interact.
So I'm just clicking the sign. Where do I click on it?
You're going to talk to the scientist that's in there. So you're going to aim right at her. You'll see scientist pop up above her head, and you'll right click, and then you'll be given
Oh, I'm upgraded.
You got it.
Ooh.
Right.
Anything else you want to buy, or do you want to save some money?
Let's say some money. You don't
Okay.
want to put a lot of money into a grass.
So I got one more button for you to hit, and that is this button to start our phenomenal genetic engineering machine.
is so
over
fun.
there to the left.
The finished
Button is
press
down
button
below
to
there.
get seed.
Yep.
Press that button down below.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
There it is,
And
man.
then look on over
Watch
here.
your
This
machine
is
over
our Cedotron. Over here, Steve.
This is totally how it works, right?
Oh my god, that's awesome.
I want to believe that genetic engineering labs are 100% like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. All right,
And then-
we're
well,
ready
and-
to head back.
Well, it's also Star Trek because apparently our seeds are teleported to
Oh, good
where
point.
where we
How do you know
To
they
our
didn't
farmer.
make
No, it's the
Wonka
age of
later?
delivery. It's the age of delivery. Yeah.
little Amazon drones.
Skipping everywhere I go here.
Speaking of drones,
So
whoa.
yeah, one person hits it, then everybody gets teleported. So we don't have any.
You want in, Steve?
Come in.
Uh-oh.
Nope. Oh yeah, there you are. And we left poor Claire behind.
Dang it, I'm
Hi,
running.
Claire. We're out of here, Claire.
Go, Claire, go. Go, Claire, go.
Claire, hold
run,
control.
Claire, run, Claire. Run.
Hold
Claire,
control.
hold control and space while you're running for
And space?
the maximum speed.
Because you'll
Okay.
jump while you're running.
I am.
You're like a
It's
cheetah.
so
You're like
fun.
an actual cheetah.
Look at
You
that.
say
Doing something
control
new every
and
day.
space while running?
Well, don't do that on the
Ooh.
farm because
Oh, yeah,
that
but not on the-
destroys your crops.
Yes.
You mean don't do this?
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yes, don't
you
jump.
did it.
No
Our
jumping.
poor soil.
Evil.
Destroyed that soil.
The making of a villain right here.
Yeah.
All right, so we do have to make one more decision, and that is how we want to plant our crops.
Yeah.
Plant them manually and plant them by hand ourselves. We can hire labor to do it, or we can use machinery to do it. All of which have a different cost, a different environmental impact, and a different amount of time used to get the job done. So, what do we recommend?
What's Dr.
Well, we got a lot of
feeling?
people here, you know. So why
Yeah,
not
we
plant
could
by
all do
hand?
it.
Hold
All right,
those
we're gonna go
sleeves.
manual. We're gonna go manual. Get ready to pull up the
Do it.
sleeves. All right, so I've got all these seeds here. So I'm going to. Oh, I'm gonna pull up the wrong thing.
Give me seeds.
You want seeds?
Give me seeds.
Where do we get the seeds from you?
You
I
just
like
By
walk
the
throwing
way,
over.
if
seeds
you're,
like
if
that.
you're a Twitter
I'm-
user, follow the hashtag Farmcraft tips. I've got about 30 or 40 tips that are going to be posted
Throwing seeds to everyone like that.
Oh.
on Twitter. Little inside tips on how to play this game.
Wow.
Pick it up.
What is that? I'm going to put that in the
Nice.
chat. Follow hashtag Farmcraft tips.
And now, Steve, just
That's
go
a
out
very
and
useful
right
tip.
click.
Thank you.
Um,
American Spaces players, be sure to
Twitter.
take note of that
I'm going to plant mine in sort of a
on
mandala.
Twitter.
okay.
So I hear it produces more yields in a mandala.
Oh, clearly. I don't wonder if the kids took notes on that or.
Do you want to remind us what a mandala is?
Don't ask me that question.
Yeah, because I'm not cultured. I have no idea.
So
I
here's
mean-
here's the idea. If people don't know, when you pick manual, what's happening in the background is a clock is ticking. The amount of time that it takes you to plant your seeds gets kind of calculated as an extension to your season, so it increases your exposure to threats of weeds, for
Wow.
instance. So the longer you take to plant, the more at risk you are, the longer you have to endure the
There's
season, more cost in keeping your farm up to speed. So it is definitely something that you want to take seriously if you choose that option.
There are a lot of unplanted seeds too. So some folks.
Does anyone
are
still
picking
I
have
have
up
seeds?
seeds. How do I get to my seeds?
You gotta
So
I-
you can use the number key that correlates with that box at the bottom. So
Oh, okay.
obviously 1 is the first box, 2 is, or you can use your mouse wheel to scroll through them.
Okay.
And then you want to right click to plant.
Right click. Dang.
Yeah. You got a lot. See, so that clock is ticking right now.
I'm so
No
sorry.
pressure, Claire. I mean, whatever.
Dang. 48.
You're just ruining our lives. It's fine.
That's fine.
Whatever.
The pressure.
it's-
I don't know if I can take it.
It's not a question that we've, I think, brought up too much on stream, and since it came up as part of what we're doing right now, how much do farmers have to monitor things like time, and in what ways would be like a really interesting question to ask. Because I gotta believe there's not just like one simple thing. I think time would be a factor in like so many decisions that they make.
Oh yeah.
Claire, you can actually just hold down on your right button and just run around, and that'll just.
No.
Yep.
Oh.
So many of our farming practices are time sensitive, right? And
Yeah.
the efficacy of that practice, whether it's spraying a herbicide or adding fertilizer, the timing in which they're applied, the way they're applied, the product that's applied, all of that has implications for the growth and the productivity of the crop.
Exactly. And I love that we're also getting
too.
tips in the chat with the control Q. Obviously, it does drop a whole stack of items, but I really liked being a seed sprinkler there for a second. So,
I have two left, but it looks like they're all.
Oh, we've got some destroyed soil, so there's some spots we can't plant in. So we're gonna mark ourselves done here.
Ooh,
now
the
it is
pressure
time
there.
to get rid of the butterflies.
Kill the butterflies.
Punch the butterflies and the weeds.
Yep. So the butterfly flies are an opportunity and a decoy. So if you remove them, you'll earn some extra money. But however, while that's happening, the weeds are starting to plant. You have about a few seconds when a weed appears. You have a few seconds to punch it and eliminate it before it permanently plants and kills the crop that it's landed on. So this is a hustle and also a good communication drill, because if two people try to attack or fix the same area, somebody hits the weed, the other one breaks the plant. So make sure communication is
such a good point, because I feel like I do that a lot where I go up and I'm like,
these are weeds.
I think I have to get closer.
If you'll notice, our timer is at minus 400, minus 300. This is our penalty from, we're not even at the kind of starting point yet. We're just about to hit that. So we've had all of this exposure, which was part of our decision to plant manually.
Are we going to get penalized for walking around in our farm fields while the ground is wet?
No, and you kind of have to run around in the herbicide and pesticide as part of this too. So let's not get too literal on that.
Not suggested at home.
Right now, no. You're going to want to wear proper equipment, or
I feel like I'm compacting my soils.
Yeah, that's what. Like if you jump, I guess that is kind of like a penalty.
Was that you telling me to jump? Is that what you said?
No.
Like that?
Don't do it. Rain is a naturally occurring thing. However, in this biome, rain is would be quite an opportunity for us to see. Yeah.
Now, is the possibility of rain, does that go up as the climate gets worse?
No, in this case, the rain chance is attached to the biome.
Oh, okay.
So it does not get influenced. The possibility of a disaster is what happens. And we've kind of geared a lot of our disasters to be what you would not expect to happen in that biome, like showing kind of like an extreme reaction.
Oh, really? Now I'm excited.
Now,
were you planning to destroy
Adam
the
wants to
ecosystem?
Butterflies. Okay, I'm gonna keep looking for weeds.
Ooh, someone bought the drones.
Somebody
Nice.
doing...
So now you have attack drones that will
operate them.
Attack they're autonomous. They will attack the pests, whether they be weeds or caterpillars.
A very high density of drones per.
We don't mess around.
So, Steve, how often are drones used in farming today? Is that a common thing?
It is definitely like sort of exponential in increasing of use. It's sort of still pretty low use in most cases, but there's just a lot of excitement and interest and certainly R&D, and it's starting to see more and more applications. Like this idea that they're spot spraying weeds, that's a whole thing. Like people are training drones to be able to map weeds in a field and then scoot over there and spray them.
That's awesome.
Oh, Brian,
I appreciate
did you know
that
when you programmed that?
I kind of met some people that are in that industry of drones in agriculture, but not necessarily pinpoint attacking insects.
That's
I was just curious if you should have patented that idea while you could, and then
I was just telling my kids we were at an
Caterpillars.
airport, and I have in my sketchbook, as my little inventor sketchbook as a kid, I had a drawing of people standing on a sidewalk that was moving.
Oh,
So
Wow.
you like to dream what's possible, knowing that people will make it happen.
Thank
So-
you to our viewers in the chat for answering questions. We appreciate that.
something went interesting over here. We have a nice path straight through here.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
like-
Steve got a little excited.
I like good alleyways in my garden.
Oh, look at you, man. He
That's
is
profits.
figuring it
That's
out.
profits right there.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
goes your
Right,
profit.
that's right.
You do need to be careful, Steve. I think you would, as you're running through, you're running.
Punching and
Running's
punching.
okay.
and
as long as you
punching.
don't jump.
Warning,
So-
soil levels reach
Oh.
0.
All right, now I'm honestly going to run because that's a problem.
I thought you guys told me to be destructive.
I told you to
little
be
bit.
destructive, but you don't listen to me. That's not a
Adam
smart
did.
thing
Yeah,
to do.
I always try to overrule Adam's sinister inclinations.
That's
All right,
right.
I was just following protocol.
To be honest, we played really by the book on our last stream, so maybe it'll be fun to just be chaos incarnate on this one.
Right?
I'm here for it.
I know you
But
are.
Steve, tell us what's the advantage to using a drone? Why that's a big investment. It costs a lot of money.
Yeah, no, it certainly does. I mean, they're coming down in price a lot, so it's becoming more accessible. But you're still fighting gravity, and you still got to keep that thing, juiced, and so that's just hard to sustain. And so there's no question of the energy requirements, and then they have to sort of always have to be recharging or what have you, and so that is a challenge. But so that's been limiting sort of the scale. But the whole big thing is that everything that happens in agriculture is spatial, right? It's like nothing is uniform, really, right? This idea that the farm field is this perfect uniform beast and everything's the same out there is just not true. There's a lot of variability that's going on in the landscape on a farm field, and it's hard to track all of that. And so aerial views that you can look down and go across a field and map it is an opportunity to sort of make either near to real-time decisions about management or provide long-term planning.
No, and I'm kind of feeling that right now because as we were managing bugs sort of more manually, I find myself running in circles with my head down, getting like a tiny little view of maybe 2 or 3 blocks at a time looking for bugs. Whereas, of course, the drones with that aerial view are seeing everything and taking care of it real quick.
Hey, Steve, feel free to destroy everything now. Things are ready to be harvested.
I kind of get in the tractor.
But yeah,
Are you
can
going to
ride
get the
in-
tractor? Go right ahead.
start driving over crops, pretty much the same way you walk. Gonna mow us all down. I know it.
Yeah,
Yes, I know.
don't come for me.
Hopefully, you're a better driver than I was. That's
Love it. So far, so good.
Brian, someone
Oh,
asked in
boy.
the chat, is there a time limit on timestamp if we choose manual planting? Oh, can't hear you.
I can hear you over the tractor.
There is not a time limit. We actually have found ourselves having a conversation while we were developed and testing, and we were at like minus 40,000.
Okay.
So it will go on and on.
Gotcha.
That's a good question.
Good question.
Hadn't even considered it. All right, so we did very poorly on profit.
Yep.
We have a significant net loss.
Mhm.
However, our climate is in phenomenal shape. Our
Very
soil,
good.
not
Good.
so much.
So here's a tip that you cannot forget, and you can't undervalue the benefit here, especially in this circumstance. We have soil value of 10, right? And when you plant hardy grass, it's meant to be a no-till. It's meant to increase your climate higher and also provide more nutrients back to the soil. So you actually get 1,000 soil quality if you choose no-till and kind of put the hardy
you
grass
plant
back
hardy
into
grass
the soil.
first, and then that season ends, and and then you choose no-till on the very next season, it automatically pops you to 1,000.
Yeah, we're at 10 right now, so we will get the benefit of 990
So
soil.
don't choose any other till method.
Yeah, this could be a big mistake if you don't choose.
So we
All
go to
right.
next season. I'll put that right up on the screen. We'll talk
Yeah,
Is
let's
that
go
going to
right
be
ahead.
at the hashtag Farmcraft tips?
It
that
is
should be in our
definitely
Farmcraft
one of the
tips, right? All right, so we're
Alright.
going to choose no-till, and then we're going to check out our soil health. No-till, close. We're going to test our soil. And it is right up at the top of our list right now. Because it's
Wow,
Wow.
that's great.
Yeah.
Good job picking that hardy grass there, Steve.
Yeah. It just doesn't make you that much
Now-
money.
Right. I was going to say, we couldn't do it every time because we'd hardly make a profit. Our soil would always be in good shape, but we would
Right.
likely not make a profit. But if we're having trouble maintaining soil, doing that for a season, maybe in the middle, and getting our soil back up so that we don't have to spend a lot of money on it in those last 2 cycles when we can really profit off the higher end crops, it's a great idea.
Yep.
I'm just kind of thinking if we're living in a biome here, probably profitability is sort of not really in the equation, right? So building our soil
Right.
was a priority.
Yeah,
I
at
would say
first,
so.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, but profitability has to come in some point. Otherwise, why are you doing it?
Well, it depends, I think, on how we view profitability, right? Profitability means that we
Sure.
have enough profit to do it again and make it sustainable so that we don't end up in a situation where the population is starving because we no longer have the money to maintain the farm. I mean, it would be a perfect world would be like, not only are we feeding everyone, but I'm also, doing well by my family and living in a wonderful home and able to retire at 30 years old. By the way, I missed all those opportunities. But
You didn't go into farming.
did not go into farming. Right, went into education. That's my fault.
Eric,
but
we're glad you did.
I know, so am I. But it really makes how do we view profit in something like this when the goal, especially in the environment, patient, ecosystem, population, is to just make sure everyone is fed. Then to me, ensuring that you have the finances to do that and the soil health to do that is the profit.
Gotcha. Oh my gosh, you guys, we're having so much fun.
I know.
I just am looking at the clock. We have about 15 minutes to go. So we're going to try to.
I was about to make a big mistake. So if we're going to go with tips, I want to say I don't want to make the same mistake. I was so used to hitting this fertilize button.
Yes.
Our soil is at 1,000, which is the best possible value. So no, I don't need to spend any money on soil or cost
That would
anything
be
or do any
tragic.
environmental harm or anything like that.
Yeah, because over fertilizing causes, that runoff would cause all kinds of problems in your ecosystem. So your climate gets hit real hard when you overwater and over fertilize.
That's right. I'm just like, I don't think I've ever hit no before on that one. And this is the first time where I'm like, oh, wait, we're at a perfect 1,000. So
Way
no,
to be
I
alert.
don't want to fertilize things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to make the right decision. Being informed matters. It makes a difference.
It does. It really does.
All right.
Are we going for one more
hop
trip to the
in.
lab?
We'll go for one more trip to the lab.
I drove last time. Who would like to drive? I don't want to.
I think I'm fired from driving.
We have definitely revoked your license, but with supervision, we wouldn't mind. giving you
I'm
another
waiting for
chance.
somebody else to hop in and drive.
All right, I'll drive.
Okay.
Oh, Steven's on it. I'll be
Oh,
shotgun.
he's
There we go.
got it now.
He's got
I
it.
just need to know where to go.
There's a road right behind us that you can follow.
Follow me,
Not
I'm
into
over
the
here.
barn, but yeah, if you follow Clever over there, follow this road.
My outfit goes nice with this biome.
I gotta say, for your first time playing, you're driving very well. People struggle with the horses.
Not
I ended
naming
up
names, not
underwater,
naming.
for example.
Yeah.
Well
done.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little technology tidbit, which I guess we talk about next time. But the teleport, the reason we have this teleport is because this new version, wasn't teleporting the people with the vehicle properly. So we had to go with a plan B.
And I
It's
point
more
out that the
reliable.
sound effect is still very Willy Wonka.
Awesome.
I'm seeing a theme here, and I just want to. Okay.
So now, like if you choose from a crop standpoint, if you choose to go for more profit, you would pick something like the red root fruit and or the spotted radish. But I would go with the red root fruit because I want to show you One of the interesting traits about the red roof fruit that is also one of the Farmcraft tips.
All right. So I
Let's
noticed,
do
by the
that.
way, that our biggest struggle in that last one was dry. Our water levels and our soil levels were the two things that were bottoming out like crazy. So maybe we want the drought tolerance and the soil health, because again, from that first playthrough, I can say those two things.
Mm-hmm.
We got 4 minutes there, Eric.
Bugs. All right. I'm going to buy that too then, because we only have 4 minutes. We should spend all our money.
Let's
And
go
it's going
for
to
it.
take a good minute
Send
for
it.
the genetic engineering to happen.
But the good news is we can actually start walking back now. As fascinating
Oh,
as it
that's
is
true.
to watch the
All
machine,
right,
we can
right.
start walking back.
Let's go.
Run.
Run.
All right, we're on.
Show us your running skills.
So while we're running, Steven, I have another question for you. We talked about drones. What are some other technologies that are being used in farming today?
Well, in general, what drones have on it. Oops, sorry. Walking through people. Drones have these cameras on them, right? And those cameras use, computer vision and AI to see things, just like, we can do facial recognition on humans, or, that's a cat or that's a dog with computers now. We can do that for plants. And so we can train technologies to see plants and differentiate between a crop and a weed, and be able to just manage the weed and not the crop, just by training our technology on knowing which one to manage.
That's awesome. I did notice that there's like some
died.
spinach that
You
will,
fell out of the world.
you should get teleported right back. That's one of the fun things, is like sometimes
Do I
people don't get
respawn?
ejected properly.
It's like a good
Yeah.
looking crop here.
Good job, the lingo.
There's an eject rider command that doesn't always work, so you'll get teleported into the void where the tractor goes.
Into the void.
I was definitely in a void.
You'll be okay, though. There you are. You're back.
I'm back. I'm back.
I love how you can't damage the crop when you're controlling the pests, but then only at harvest can you damage the crop.
Exactly.
Well,
Like, so you're damaging it either way, but it doesn't have any fruit. It doesn't have any fruit basically to harvest. So you're eliminating it without yielding any fruit before it's mature.
But you're not impacting the yield by walking through it right now, right?
Correct. Only if it's gone.
Yeah.
Running or jumping may be a
But
problem.
if you run or jump, then that's
our water level is already low. Yeah. Hope it's a big water.
Get it? Yeah.
And there were 250. They increase you 250 each. So you probably could do 2 more waters. To give a little break. I can run those.
Oh, here's the weed.
As long as we're not overwatering.
Got it. So even though we're in the tundra and it's got really dry soil, we can still overwater, right?
Yes. Yeah. So the idea there is that you're potentially causing harmful emission of other gases that are worse than carbon, like a nitrous oxide gas. Causing your facultative anaerobes to switch mode
I was waiting. There it is.
from
Had that
oxygen
one locked and
processing
loaded
to
right in the can for
nitrate
that one.
processing.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Impressive.
check out these crops. Look how much space there is between them, and Dr. Dirt might like this because these have that more sense of paths that you could walk in, which also is really nice for eyeballing the caterpillars from a distance.
Yeah,
When we
that's
get
true.
to the insect one. So the cool thing about the red root fruit is that its profile is a little more narrow, and so one of the higher yield ones that are a little easier to manage.
It's interesting too, because generally you sort of want to have your crops maximize sunlight capture, and that's leaving a lot of ground bare.
Yeah, they'll mature into that space, so they're as they're growing, though, they leave a nice. Not until like the end where they start to really fill in.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Oh man.
One thing I'll notice is that we're getting a lot more bugs this time because we don't have insect resistance.
Oh, good point.
That's part of it, and also we may not have killed as many butterflies prior to this.
That's true.
The other interesting thing with with insect resistance is that you basically have a pesticide built into the plant so that when they eat a crop, they'll die. So they can only really take one chomp and then they disappear. Whereas if you don't have the insect resistance and you have a caterpillar left unmanaged, it'll just stroll through the crops and just keep eating as it's going. So you do need to manage more closely if you don't have the resistance built into the crop.
Yeah. We've got a question in the chat as well. Uh-oh, our soil is
okay. So here's another tip for everybody: when your soil don't spray. When your soil reaches 0, one of the things you could do is go to the farmer and you could buy fertilizer. A little more expensive, but when you think about it, it's bringing your soil up to 1,000 in one shot without environmental impact. So there's a balance there.
Sorry to jump over that last comment. We have a question in the chat for Dr. Mirsky, and then also we are running out of time. So I hate to say it, but I think we're going to have to. Can we leave the world right now? It just feels so wrong to stop in the middle of the game. But I know we do want to take a couple minutes for Eric to go through how to submit videos.
I'll let you all continue. How's that? If I let all of you continue finishing up the farm, and I will jump over.
So Adam and I can conspire to destroy the environment.
Yes,
yes, you can. Yes, you can.
I'm even hearing the alerts going in the background, so it's already interesting.
All right. You're right. The question for Dr. Merski. Oh my goodness. What exactly are web-based decision support tools for agricultural professionals? So this was in the bio that you sent us. This is something that you said you work on.
Oh.
So what are those?
Yeah, so when we do our research, we build an insight, right? Like we study something and we hypothesize and we draw a conclusion. We get these results. We want those results to be used in the world, right? We don't want to just hide it away in our research papers in the library, or now people don't use libraries, but and so we want it to be out and used by growers so that they can help them make decisions. And so we take that data and then we build results that sometimes we call them models, and that information can be integrated into a tool. And so we got to build the back end of that tool, sort of that have all the logic and the information that informs the decision. Maybe a farmer wants to know how much fertilizer to apply or when to plant or what have you. And we build that information into a web-based app, and then farmers can go online or download it on their phones and in real time get, look for input. And some of these are sort of guided experiences where they provide the objectives they have and then provides recommendations, or some of these are just exploratory tools that they can learn from. But it's all sort of these interactive way for them to learn. And then some of it is where they actually, add their own data information from their farm, and that feeds into the models and the tools, and they get outputs that they can see through the web-based apps.
Got it. Awesome.
That's super cool.
I don't remember reading that in the textbooks I read when I was in 5th grade. So
yeah, I was just thinking farming has come a long way.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And in fact, it's such a dense environment. You can imagine now with all these people building tools and such. So now there's sort of like it's saturated, right? Farmers don't know which tools should I use. There's so many tools. Which is the good one? And so now we're starting to have to learn how to make our tools communicate with each other better and help create more standards so that that it helps the farmers not get decision fatigue. They get too many decisions to make, too many tools. They gotta figure out which one to use and all that kind of jazz. So that sort of once you enter the digital space, it becomes its own sets of problems.
Right.
One of our viewers really summarized it kind of perfectly. It says, so they've quantified data built into models. Really smart. And so, literally that. I love, that's a fantastic way to put it, I think. Clearly paying attention. Gotta love that.
Perfect.
So I do want to jump over to the website.
Quick rundown.
Because I know we've got a lot to cover on here, and I want to make it quick. So a few things. One, we are ready for regular season challenge 2. Now, if you were to scroll down on our page, you'll still see regular season challenge 1 because this one is still wrapping up. So if you haven't submitted regular season challenge 1, there's still a little bit of time for you to do it. However, regular season challenge 2 is live in our Flipgrid, and that will appear here very soon. But I'm going to jump over to the Flipgrid so we can see it. And that is our new challenge. So using the latest NASEF Farmcraft map in Minecraft. And by the way, there is a brand new one. So if you got that one from the link, there's an updated version of that map as well. I'll show you where to find that in just a second. Work with your teammates to take on 2 to 3 biome challenges. So we'd like to see more than just one this time. And try to do a variety. So choose some ones that you didn't choose before. Use those non-playable characters just as before as guides to work through it. But your goal this time, and this is really the important part, your goal is to focus on profit. Now that seems obviously a little counterintuitive to the balance we've been talking about on every one of these live streams and the decision-making processes on every one of these live streams. But we want you to do it. We want you to focus on nothing but profit. Make as much money as you can. And then upon completing those, you're going to do your video diary again. And we're going to alter the questions a little bit. So obviously, you're still going to tell us which biomes you chose and what those challenges were and how you made your decisions as a team. But after that, we want you to tell us, how did putting your focus only on profit affect your outcomes? How was the climate impacted by that mindset of focusing on nothing more than climate or profit? And some of you may have tried this already, but we want you to go all out. Say, I don't care what any of the other repercussions are. Just, I'm going to make as much money as I can. And that sounds counterintuitive, but it's what we want you to try this time. And of course, next time when we offer the next challenge, maybe we'll mix that up a little bit so we can make some comparisons. This is a little bit of the experimentation process, right? We want to see what happens when we go to these extremes. So we're asking you to go to an extreme. Don't focus on anything but making as much money as you can. And then, of course, tell us what happened in your video feedback. So the deadline for this second challenge is essentially you've got 2 weeks until our next live stream. And our next live stream is on, and I've got that on here, I know I do, is May, or actually this one is due May 13th. So you've got through May 13th to work on this one. So yeah, a little bit over 2 weeks. You can choose any biomes you want now. So you can choose any of the biomes you want for this particular challenge. Additionally, and I want to go back to the NASEF site, while it's still a little early and you probably haven't played all the biomes, the submission page for your scores is now open. That means at the end of, at least if you've gotten through 5 seasons in any one of the biomes, you saw that you get like a final score. Now, of course, you can keep playing more and more seasons to get that score up, but you can submit a score after 5 seasons. This is where you submit a score. You'll see it right at the top of that page. You'll see a big blue button right here, submit score. And when I go to submit score, it takes me to a link where I fill out this form. So I'm going to put in my team name, my team country, the division that I'm competing in, the biome that we completed the particular challenge in. So if we did our best score ever in the temperate biome, let's say I would choose the temperate biome, you'll punch in your climate score, your money score, your water score, and your soil score, which are the 4 that are on the screen when you're done. And then you also need to include a screenshot as proof of that outcome. And you want to make sure, this is really important, you want to make sure when you are submitting your score that you're using the most up-to-date Farmcraft file, that Minecraft world file. And it shows that on the screen above the score. It shows which version of it you are using. So you always want to be on that most up-to-date one. Okay? And then any comments, of course, if you had. So if we go back to there, just like before, that same link, down below where it says download, you'll see another Flipgrid page with the download, and you'll see the download link for the Farmcraft world right here as an attachment. If we click that link, we'll see this right here, and we can actually right-click on it and download. And we will get the option to download that file, which I already have, so I'm not going to do it again. We're actually in it right now. So this version number is what we want to see. Right here. Okay, so make sure you've got that one before you try to go for those high scores. And by the way, I appreciate all the beard love today in the chat. It takes a lot of effort, you know. It's not easy to manage. It's much like maintaining crops. So you know, I don't get those
people who are not watching this on YouTube. They're like, "What is he talking about?"
That's right. In the
there are different comments in different chats, and
that's right, because this is streaming on Twitch. It's streaming on Facebook. It's streaming on YouTube. The YouTube chat is all the beard love today. So
yes, for sure. All right, so we talked about challenge 2, how to submit it, when it's due. Any other quick tips you want to add, Eric, or should we move on and talk about the prizing?
So we do want to talk about the prizing, but one more thing we also want to talk about is all of the coordinators, and we'll send another email, and it is actually available on here as well. Should have gotten an email with a link to a photo voice activity, and the photo voice activity can be found. It's on here somewhere, but a link was sent to all of the teachers and coordinators. So take a look at that photo voice activity. We encourage everyone to participate in that. And it will give you the opportunity. It is for students age 13 and older to complete throughout the season, but it gives you a chance, of course, to share everything you're learning and share your experience to help us grow the program.
Right. We think we know what we're doing, but we want to be sure that we're incorporating your suggestions as well.
And I will add as a bonus, since we were talking about prizes, that players who upload submissions for more than 50% of the prompts, because there's a whole bunch of questions. If you answer more than 50% of those questions, you get an exclusive skin pack from the Farmcraft team. So you get an exclusive Farmcraft skin pack.
Awesome. All right.
Additionally, of course, we did talk about prizes on the other page, but real quick, and we'll just go to because we're running real low on time. But here we can see the prizes are on the screen, and you can find them there. And they are everything ranging from a $350 Amazon gift card for first place in the divisions to a $100 gift card for third place in the divisions.
Awesome.
So lots of gift cards for the teams to be won.
Awesome. I see someone in the chat saying, "What? I need the pack." Yes, you do need the pack.
That's right.
So make sure you join. In addition to submitting, we don't want you to think this photo voice activity is instead of completing the challenges. This is an extra fun thing that you can do. And then we'll take your feedback. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And then you get the skin pack.
And I feel like they think it's a challenge, but no, everyone who participates who meets that qualification will get the skin pack. It's not only one team ever will get it, but only those people who complete it will get it. Not everyone is getting it.
Maybe next week we can show off what those skins look like, Brian. Maybe.
Maybe.
Sorry, not next week, in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yes, in 2 weeks. All right. So thank you for indulging us. We ran over by a couple minutes. We were having so much fun in the farm and in a new biome that we kind of ran a little bit long in our gameplay. So
Dr. Dirt.
This is what happens when you're having too much fun. Steve, we appreciate your joining us so much. Thank you for the insights and the discussion around technology and farming and what it looks like today. That was really helpful. And thank you to everyone on our Farmcraft team, and we'll see you all in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Take care.
Have a great one.